On this episode of Mods by Brannan, the Saab gets its clutch replaced at my friend's garage.
So I'm way to the garage now to get the clutch done. It's pretty bad. I've got like a 20-mile drive ahead of me, so hopefully it'll get me there in one piece. I've been going around some roundabouts and noticed as you can hear the clutch then. Noticed some knocking as well when I go right. If you can hear that. So might have to look at that as well when it gets on the ramp. So yeah, I'm around about 40 minutes away until I get to the garage where I'm going to get the clutch done. So it's a friend's garage based in Eccleshill called Rose Garage, and yeah, they've kindly offered to let me use the ramp and help me out doing the clutch. I've heard that it's just a sub-frame drop on these cars, so it's going to take quite some time. They say around about 7 hours, depending on whether there's no like rusty bolts and how to create some, weld some brackets up, etc. So we'll see how we get on with that. Listen out. Yeah, it's not great. Some sort of bush or something has gone, clearly. Apart from the few occasional rattles here and there, it's not a bad drive, to be fair. Be nice when the clutch is done. So we've only got the clutch to basically do now. Once the clutch is done, we've got the intercooler, the French downpipe, and then it's to get the ECU remapped then. So I found a guy already, I think he's called Noob Tune. I'm not too sure whereabouts he is, but I know you can send your ECU off, cost you £5 to send it off, and it's like £90 I think, off the top of my head. But I'm not going to do that, I'm going to drive there. I thought it's the whole experience of driving there with a untuned vehicle, and if you just tell him your modifications, what you've done to the car, and from there onwards he'll just basically tune your ECU to adapt for the mods. So we'll see how we get on with that and see what the power's like on the way back. I'm not too sure what we're going to get. I didn't do a dyno run before because obviously the car was in great condition anyway, so I wasn't able to do a dyno run to say, right, okay, the car made XYZ. But obviously standard, I think the 150 brake horsepower of these engines. So this is a 205. It's a small turbo, so it's not a big one. And we're looking to get around about it says online around about 290 brake horsepower, but I've got my head set around about 260, 270. We're making him more than that bonus. If I don't, then I had my heart set on 260, 270 anyway, so I'm happy between around them. Still a lot more than I had before, 150 brake horsepower. So every time you accelerate on the clutch and the turbo kicks in, you just feel that instant slip of the clutch. And every time you do around a corner, you just feel like your wheel's about to fall off. It's nice going down hills though. Got a big hill actually just before we arrive at the garage. Don't think I'm looking forward to that. Almost arrived at the garage now. Managed to go get myself a Greg's hot chocolate, surprisingly. I had a coffee this morning, so I thought I'd balance it out with a hot chocolate as well, and a bacon omelette sandwich. Can't go wrong for £2.35. So yeah, we're almost there. It's got it's less than a mile away now. The garage opens in about 10 minutes, so we'll get there. I don't think there'll be anybody there, so I can sit around, I can eat my sandwich, and wait for it to arrive. Can you hear the clutch? Hold on, put it in there. Second, I'll give it a bit of speed first. And I've got hot chocolate all over myself. That was clever, wasn't it? Really clever. I tell you what though, it still picks up speed considering it's untuned. it does pick up some speed with the new turbo on it. I did have some smoke going up the big hill on the way to the garage. A bit of smoke, so not a load, just a little bit, probably a bit of excess oil left over to burn off, but I can't see anything now. It seems to be quite clear behind me now. Oh, here we are, we've arrived. So Rose Garage in Eccleshill. We are here. He's a mad driver. Obviously didn't like how often I used the indicator. Alright, so we better see how we get on. This should be here very shortly, 10 minutes or so. Yeah, not far off.
So the clutch I've actually gone for is a Saab 9.3 Vigan clutch. Now Vigans have around about 225 brake horsepower and 350 Nm of torque as standard. Now I know obviously I'm looking for a little bit more than that out of my car, but I thought it would be an ideal clutch to use in the car. Now the only downside, it only came as a 2-piece kit, it didn't come as a 3-piece, so I needed the clutch slave cylinder. Now stupidly I did buy that separately first, and I did actually compress it. Now I got told by the garage it wasn't ideal fitting it into the car because I've done that. So it may not have released properly when it's actually fitted in the car, but nothing worse than obviously the gearbox goes back on with a new clutch and something's wrong with the slave cylinder. So they recommended to get another one, so I had to go looking out for one of those. But I did actually have to go out anyway because unfortunately we had a bit of a disaster. When you remember when we were at the roundabout and there was some knocking on this left hand side of the car. Now, when obviously the car was on the ramp, I had to look at the actual leg and give it a shake just to see what was going on, or see if I could hear any knocking or banging around. And as soon as I actually shook the actual wheel just dropped completely. Now, obviously, normal shock absorbers actually bolt into the bottom of the wheel, like the actual hub, and unfortunately, some stupid reason, Saabs don't. They screw in, and obviously they're quite prone to rusting and corrosion and basically breaking, which obviously mine had. So it could have been quite dangerous for the whole drive, to be fair. Now luckily I did actually get there safely, which was brilliant. Bit weird considering it's also just done its MOT not long ago as well, but obviously it was just corrosion, just one of those things. When it happened. Obviously been sat there for a little while. Now obviously I had to try finding one of these suspension legs somewhere with obviously the shock absorber and everything all attached, because obviously it was completely knackered, needed changing completely. Now it's quite hard to find parts like these for these cars, because obviously they don't do new parts much anymore, and if they are, they're really hard to find, or there's certain specialists, and the chance of getting the same day delivery is just impossible. Now I managed to find a Saab specialist over in Huddersfield, which was a 33-mile round trip from Bradford. Now luckily they had this part in stock. It came as a whole leg with the brake and everything in, caliper. Now I had to go get this, and obviously I did miss out on recording some footage of removing the subframe and getting to the clutch, but obviously we needed to get the car on the road and get this car off the ramp as well, so obviously the garage could carry on working. Now when I got there, obviously I managed to pick it up. I think I only paid £90 for it, so it wasn't a lot of money. Got that back along with the slave cylinder as well for the clutch.
Are them marks there?
Yeah.
That's some oil.
There's oil
marks.
Is it on there as well?
Yeah, but that's alright, that'll fly with it.
Doesn't look bad actually, does it?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem much worse.
It's original clutch though.
Yeah, it is.
Saab.
So obviously when I got back to the garage, it was already done pretty much. The subframe was already dropped, the clutch was already out, it was ready to just fit the new one in basically. Just wait for me really with a slave cylinder pretty much. I think he was just balancing it in and getting it in straight and doing on the clutch, and basically ready to put it back together again. So I concentrated on the suspension leg and just to get the car off ramp as quickly as possible. So now the clutch is done, what's next? So I've been advised that I don't need to get an intercooler for the car because mine is actually cross flow already. Now from 1998 and 2000, apparently there wasn't cross flow, but from 2000 to 2002 they are. So luckily I don't have to get one, but I'll have to keep an eye on my intake temperatures and stuff like that and see how I get on with it. And obviously if the intake temperatures are high, I will get an intercooler like a DO88, or I think it's an Evo 7 or Evo 8 intercooler fit directly onto mine. So obviously I'll keep an eye on that, and if I don't need to get one, brilliant, because I can spend money elsewhere on better things. Like first of all, I need to do a sump drop on the car because I know these are quite gunky engines and they can get a lot of sludge at the bottom of them. So I do need to do a sump drop on the car. Plus, not just that, from the metal shavings from the previous turbo, maybe the bottom sat in the bottom of the sump as well. So it'd be ideal to get rid of that. We don't be sucking that up and obviously putting that into the engine. And these are a revised breather system as well, which just help them from getting gunky or sludgy and stuff like that. So I will install that as well at some point. Now, most importantly, which is obviously helpful for all cars that have a bit of power, I need some new tyres. But the existing alloy wheels are 16-inch wheels. So I thought it'd be best if I can get some 17-inch wheels and get some tyres for them, or even preferably get some 17-inch wheels with tyres on. It makes life a lot easier and I don't have to mess around then. Obviously they'll look nicer as well because mine are really scabby at the moment. I don't know if you've seen from previous videos. And then obviously I need to do some get the chip brakes changed because obviously they've been sat there for quite some time. I think they got done 2 to 3 years ago, but obviously the car hasn't done many miles recently in the past 2 to 3 years. So once I get that up and running and get the brakes done, that should hopefully help. To change brake fluid as well, because again I don't know when that last time got done. I tried looking through the history, but I couldn't see when that last got done, so it could have been God knows how long it might. I mean, I'm guessing it has been done at some point, considering it's 19-year-old or 18.5-year-old, so to speak. So I'm guessing it has been done at some point, at least I hope so. And then obviously I need to do the 3-inch downpipe. Now obviously I'm going to take that to a friend of mine called Tony Banks, which is based in Leeds. Now I've used them before previously on a previous car, so obviously I do rate them quite highly and they do a really good job. Get it back same day as well, which is great. And obviously I think it's lifetime warranty on them as well, I believe. And finally, after all that's done, get an EC remap. So I think I'm going to use a company called NoobTune. I don't know whereabouts he's based. I was originally going to drive to him, but considering obviously time's running a bit short for this nice surprise we've got for you, I'm going to send it off. I think it's like £5 to send it. You tell him all your modifications and he sends it back to you and you just put it back in your car and off you go really. It should be up and running. So hopefully as long as that all goes smoothly, we should be up and running very shortly. So yeah, see you next time on Mods by Brandon. Take care. Make sure you subscribe to follow further progress on the Saab, and thanks for watching.